On today's show, we meet 3 local crafters who all enjoy sharing their creations by selling at crafters markets and events. Later on, we'll test their overall craftiness with a quickfire class in each skill. Welcome to Crafted. Our first crafter juggles her time between a full-time job, raising a family, and her hobby of creating macrame, a form of textile made using knotting techniques.
My name is Debbie Davies and I make macrame. I've been crafting for a few years. I used to do it years ago before I had children, before I had my family, and then I lost my way really. I didn't have time for it. So recently I went to a pottery painting session, realised how relaxing it was and realised I wanted to start crafting again. So I've tried lots of different crafts. I saw some macrame last December, really liked it and thought I wanted to have a go. I've learnt really with my daughter Kira, and we've just been teaching ourselves using YouTube videos, books, anything that we can find to learn how to do the knots, and then designing our own wall hangings. All the things that I make are for relaxation, but I make so many of them that I can't have them all in the house, basically. So I have to sell them on, get rid of them. So that's why we do the markets and the craft fairs, and I enjoy them. Last year when I was on holiday, we bought some small owls from a French market, and I did some research and realised that nobody made anything like that over here. So I've started making owl families, and when we do a market we tend to sell the owl families in the macrame, and they go down really well. I was very happy the first time I sold a piece of macrame, but also a little bit sad because every time you create something it's a little bit of yourself, and there's a little bit of me that wants to keep everything but I can't. But it is lovely when you sell, people come up and appreciate what you make. When we started selling at markets, people would come up to us and say, oh, I used to do that when I was younger, but I can't remember how anymore. Or, yeah, I'd really like to do that, but I don't think I know how. And that gave us the idea actually that we could probably make some very simple kits for people that with the full instructions they would be able to create the same things that we were creating. So we've created kits out of small wall hangings, plant pot hangers and large wall hangings, and also for the Tree of Life. My favourite piece of work that I've made is the Tree of Life. Again, got the idea off of the internet, played around with the pattern to make it what I wanted it to be, and added in the small beads to look like fruit on the tree. And I've actually sold quite a few of these. People really like them. So to make a small piece of macrame, the first step is always to obviously create a little hanger for yourself to hang the piece up, and then to attach all your yarn pieces to the dowel, and then to actually create the pattern that you want to make using the knots that you've chosen. This particular one here has got square knots on it, which is probably one of the most basic knots that anybody would learn and use, but it's really versatile because you can make all sorts of patterns with it. And then there's also a double half hitch knot making the chevrons on it, and it really is quite a simple piece of work but quite effective.
Next, we have a crafter who has turned her hobby into a full-time career for both her and her husband, creating art using natural items like pebbles and stones.
Pebble art basically is a collage, and I use the different shapes and sizes of pebbles and the colours really to create a picture. I've always liked making collages, but in 2016 I decided I was going to go out on my own. Started with lots of different crafts, and I put a pebble art picture online for sale and it sold. So I did another one, and it's gone on from there, and now I don't have time for any of the crafts apart from pebble art. I sell my pieces mostly online through my Etsy shop. I decided this year that I would go out once a month and do a stall, and I enjoy doing that because it makes me do create designs that I've got in my head and don't really have the chance to make them because I'm making them from templates on my shop for orders, really. What I love about the markets the most is when somebody approaches my stall, you can see a smile come on their face, and the smile just gets wider and wider as they work their way across my stall. And I just love that. I really do. It makes everything worth it. At stalls, we have had people actually cry because they've connected with it so emotionally, and they can see themselves in that picture or a certain situation. But yeah, we have had people cry. I buy my pebbles from all over the place. So we love gardening, so we're always at garden centres. And I found I go to landscapers as well now, and I just buy any bag of pebbles or stones that take my fancy. So I tend to tip them out onto my desk. That is the best way I work, and I route through them. So when I'm creating an order, for example the family tree order, I pick the stones to suit the people. But I love the fact that they're all so pleased with them. Yeah, I really love that, especially as they go all over the world. This is an example of a larger size family tree that I create for my Etsy shop. The customer sends me the names for the tree, so I add the names there, and the age and gender of the children. So I choose the stones to best represent that. My plans for the future. I want to carry on the way we are now. We are growing, but the problem is there is a ceiling because I'm only one person who can make them. I do have help from my husband on other aspects of the business, but I'm the only person who makes the pebble art. So I will just keep working at capacity and enjoying it.
Our third and final crafter has recently turned her hobby into a profession by completing a master's degree in ceramics. Alongside her crafting, she helps her husband run a successful restaurant and is raising 2 young children.
Hi, I'm Kath and I am a ceramic artist. Ceramics is taking earth or clay from the earth and making it into a usable item, be it sculptural, be it a pot, be it a mug, in the process of putting it in the kiln and firing it. I first started when I was about 19. But never fully pursued it until about 6-7 years ago when I set myself up at home with a studio, ceramic with wheels, with a kiln and everything like that. And then more recently just doing the MA in ceramics. But yeah, I've been doing it for years, and I just love taking a malleable piece of material of the clay where it's soft and you can shape it into a form, but then once fired, it's solid, it's not movable. I came up with the idea to do these pots throughout my MA, and it was kind of a bit of an accident because I was trying to make shapes that were large forms. So I've been trying to make bigger and bigger forms, and I've got all these glazes that I needed to work with. And I thought I'm just going to make the same size pots to do as tests and do test pieces. The exhibition was part of my MA show, so all the MA students on the design course here at UCLan exhibit their work at the end of the course. So it just brought everything together to have an exhibition and have a wall of pots like I did, of having 25 of each season, which then obviously equated to 100. I think it really showed my work off well. I was selling the work because I don't need 100 pots. And I did actually sell quite a lot at the exhibition, hence been making a lot more now because I've got another show coming up. And it's just nice that people appreciate the work that I've done and like the work enough to actually buy the work. I feel so chuffed each time somebody buys something because they've appreciated what I've done and all the work that I've done to get to where I've got to now. The first time I sold a pot was a couple of years ago, and it was at a PTFA event at school. So I set up there and I got a lot of good response from it. Nothing what I'm doing now, nothing like this work, but it didn't matter. It was just, like I said before, it's really nice when somebody's actually willing to pay and give you money for work that you've done. And that was literally at the kitchen table that I was working at the time. I was really chuffed, really pleased. My favourite range that I do at the moment is my winter. So these ones, it's so simple to do. It's literally just copper oxide on the rim and then the whole thing's dipped in the white glaze. But again, we've got the drippy effect of the copper because it comes out blue. And then even just the way it reacts with the glaze that I've made of this white, it's just, I really love the way it works, and these larger ones as well. I think it's a really nice conical form. There are no rich ceramicists out there, or there's not many rich ceramicists out there, so you don't do this to make money. You don't do it to be rich, I should say. You do it because you just love making it, and you make all these things that people like and want to buy, and it's like you just keep going with it.
All three of our crafters are about to meet for the first time in a local cafe.
Hi!
Hiya! I'm Debbie.
Sarah.
Hi!
Hiya!
I'm Kath.
I'm Sarah.
And you're
Pebble Art.
Pebble Art.
I'm Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
All right.
Are you all
I'm
right?
macrame.
Macrame. Well, that's what we're doing now, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Sounds exciting. Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
hope
looking
so,
forward to ceramics as well.
Oh, we're getting messy. That's the best bit.
Getting messy. Yeah, no, we're all
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
Oh, no,
You've
really
done
good.
that before, haven't you?
I have a little bit, yeah, I've dabbled a little bit.
You've played with clay.
I have, yeah.
Well, I've never done macrame,
Oh, that's good.
and I've painted, but I've never painted pebbles.
I don't paint pebbles.
Oh, what are we doing?
No, more like a collage
Oh, right.
picture,
Okay.
using the pebbles to create a picture.
Ah. That's not
Yeah.
what I thought it was going to be. So that's good.
It's really exciting,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I'm looking forward to today. A nice crafty day.
Coming up,
Take the left-hand piece of yarn, pass it across the front.
Debbie ties everyone up in knots.
Oh, that was way off.
Kath gets everyone messy making pots.
What would be easy, but it's not.
And Sarah shows the ladies her secret to the perfect pebble picture.
I tend to empty the bags onto my desk, and it is literally like the tides come in.
First up, Debbie is going to give Kath and Sarah a quick lesson in macrame.
I've set up the stuff over here. Do you want to come and have a go?
Yeah, that's good.
Macrame is an ancient art form which involves using decorative knots to create textiles.
So what we're going to make today is a very small wall hanging. If you'd like to take your yarn, the first thing that we actually have to do is to attach it to the doweling. So what I need you to do is to take one piece of yarn, put the ends of it together, then you're going to put it over the top of your piece of doweling, all the way through, and you should end up with this. And then you do that another 9 times with the other 9 pieces of yarn, exactly the same,
Across like that.
so
Okay.
that you fill your doweling up with yarn.
So what got you into doing this?
I saw a beautiful piece of macrame hanging up somewhere at an exhibition, and I thought, oh, I like that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a square knot, and this whole wall hanging is going to be made out of square knots. So once you've mastered it, it's very repetitive then. So you take the first 4 pieces of yarn, take the left-hand piece of yarn, pass it across the front of the 2 middle ones, so you're making a number 4, and then this piece of yarn on the right, you put it over, pass it up round the back and out through this hole there that you've made. That's it. Yeah, that's it, and pull it through. And that's your square knot.
Okay.
So what you're going to do now is you're going to do a whole row of square knots here till you get to the end. I can tell you're both concentrating because you're quiet. So that's the first row complete.
Okay.
So we're going to do the second row now, and what we're going to do when we do the second row is we're going to leave the end 2 so that you're actually making a square in between and just below the 2 above. Bro, there we go. So if we're going to do one more row, a full row, and then we're going to start to decrease so that we get a point. And now you've got one more knot to make right in the middle. So you pick up your middle 4 strands and you tie one more knot. That's it. All we're going to do now is trim it.
Oh, right.
Finished? Fantastic.
It took more concentration than I thought you'd need. I found that as I was doing the knot from one side, it was a repetitive knot from one side and then to the other side. By the time I'd done the other side, I'd forgotten how to do it on the other side. But it was great, I really enjoyed it. I liked the look of them as well.
That was really fun, I enjoyed that, that was good. It's always nice just to learn a different craft and different skill that somebody else has done. When you try something for the first time, you do just want to try again. So yeah, definitely I'll have another go at it, yeah.
Next, it's Kath's turn to show off her pot-making skills and to see if Debbie and Sarah have got what it takes to work the wheel.
Right, my turn. Shall we throw a pot?
Yes.
Time to get dirty and messy. I'm sure you've seen something like this before. I think everybody's seen somebody throwing a pot. But I'll talk you through what's what. You throw the ball of clay as centrally as you can get in the wheel. So as I'm talking to you now, I know that this is centred because my hands aren't going like that.
Okay.
And that's what you need it to be before you start doing the next stage. So make sure you just push in, not all the way to the bottom, unless you're wanting a plant pot. Okay, so creating equal pressure from the outside and the inside, you then squeeze the clay, and then you'll see the walls will start rising up. And then using this tool, I'll just tidy up the base. The base will always be thicker than the top, so this is just equaling it out. And now the fun begins because it's your turn.
Yay! See, it's definitely not as easy as it looks, is it?
But it's good fun.
Oh, that was way off. You think throwing it just onto one spot would be easy, but it's not.
You'd think.
You think?
Okay.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, nearly. We need speed on the wheel now. Alright, keep going. Try and get it so that it's going to come up in a pyramid shape.
Right, okay.
So you need the top to be thinner than the base.
Okay.
Okay. That's it, now squeeze with both. One, squeeze. Squeeze.
I think I am squeezing, but nothing's happening.
We're going to now push it down. Okay. So you use your left hand to support the sides, and it's your right hand that you're then going to be pushing down. No, that's it. You can see you can feel it now, can't you? So
Yep.
it gets a bit more central. That's really good. So as you touch it without looking at it, you can feel it. You're not moving.
Okay.
Which means that you're centred. Okay, so now we're going to be opening it up. Okay. So using your finger, so you need to anchor again, palms down.
Okay.
Hold one hand with the other hand, and then from the centre, you're pushing it in. That's it. So you're just going straight down, and keep your finger and your hand still. You're just going straight down, but not to the base. Okay. Really good.
It looks perfect. Can we stop there?
That's your bowl. Now straight down.
You have to press quite hard, don't you?
Yeah. Right, that should be plenty.
That's what I suction on there.
Okay, so now you're going to pull the clay towards you. So squeeze from inside and the out, and then pull up.
I want an oval.
You're doing really well.
I think that's cute.
Yeah? You want to keep that?
Yeah.
And now you can use that tool to smooth off and straighten off the base.
Okay.
Keep it flat on the wheel like that,
Yeah.
and then just go in.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, it does make a horrible noise. You're going to use that part of it to then neaten up the edge there. But again, always supporting. This is the danger that you can start stabbing
Oh,
in
I've
and
just
then...
stabbed it.
Oh, that's the design effect that you wanted.
Yeah. I think that's okay.
I think that for your first attempt at throwing, I think that's really good. That's it.
That's a really good job.
That is, you should be proud of that. That was really good.
I'm really pleased with that. Yay.
There you go. You should be really proud of them too.
I tell you what, yours is so much taller than mine. That was brilliant.
It is more trickier to get taller than it is to go wider.
Yeah.
So,
Is it?
Oh, all right. Then
yeah.
I'll take that one then. Absolutely amazing. It's quite addictive. I just want to try it again. But the clay's so unforgiving and it's much harder. I mean, actually more solid than you think it is. When you watch the experts do it and they move it up and they move it down, it looks so fluid and it's really not. It's really quite hard work.
Absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed that. And I was amazed at how much concentration I needed to use to just be able to form the shapes that I wanted to make. It was quite surprising. I actually didn't think I would be able to make anything, but I've made a pot and I'm very pleased with the shape of it.
Finally, it's Sarah's turn to give Kath and Debbie a quick lesson in pebble art.
Well, first of all, as you know, I make pebble art, and I thought for today we'll have a go at making some flowers. So here's an example. You make it exactly your own, but I'll just set you off and giving you some pebbles to play with.
Lovely.
Right, well, the way I always start is, like you can see that one has got quite a line of grass underneath. So however you want to draw it, just some tufts of grass. You need some big ones that your flowers are going to come out of there. Put your selection of pebbles and really just have a play.
So how many buckets of pebbles do you have at home?
I tend to empty the bag out onto my desk and it is literally like the tides come in.
So what would you do here? Because I've obviously put two where the heads are quite close together.
You could draw in another stem that comes down across there and you could just use one long pebble. Here's the one in there. Let me just get rid of these. I'll find one for you.
I love the simplicity of this,
Yeah.
but it's so effective. Who'd have thought all these different stones would be so pretty?
I know. I get quite enthused about stones and I actually can find, I have a big pile of, like I say, on my desk I have a whole pile of stones, but I can actually find stones that I saw when I was doing something else.
Yeah.
Because you get to know what they were looking at.
No, I still think that's not right.
You're as indecisive as I am when I'm making pictures.
There,
Yeah.
I think.
So now what you have to do is once you've finished putting your picture together, you have to do it again because you have to pick each stone up and add glue to it and put it.
Yeah. Okay.
I really like that.
Yeah, pleased
Yeah.
with that.
Very.
Well done.
Yay, that's lovely.
If we put the two together, you can see the different colour schemes that you've both gone for.
But they're beautiful, aren't they?
Well done.
So beautiful.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed that.
It's been absolutely fantastic. I have really enjoyed making the pebble art. It's so effective and I'm really impressed with what I've done. I would really, really like to be having a go at doing this at home, making some things maybe for family and for myself to decorate my home.
It's been so good. Really enjoyed doing this. I'd definitely have a go at doing this again. I think my daughter's going to love doing something like this. So I think we're going to go hunting round for some pebbles. And me and Elisa are going to have a little play. We're doing our own little pebble art.